Well, we're all back once again in the cave. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a lovely Monday. Yes, it is a lovely Monday out there. It's actually bright and sunny right now, which is quite nice. Well, actually not really, because it's too fucking bright, too goddamn early. Got to get some blackout curtains, which I keep on putting off. Anyways, with that said, what do we have today in store? Actually, a lot of things. A little bit of a present from Mr. Caretaker himself, which I want to remind myself to talk about, and then discussing more or less the higher term timeframes, as this is all just set up for April. And April, I imagine, is going to be actually quite the month right there. But a little bit more boringness, I imagine, in the short and medium term timeframes for Bitcoin as it plays ping pong amongst the amongst the range, essentially. So with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. Yes, that's what I wanted to do. And let's get into the Krown Chain application, which, by the way, can be found at app.krownchain.net. There's a link in the description below. It's 100% free, by the way, as well. And you even have not more variability, but more options with actually putting in alerts in comparison to even just a TradingView free account. So anyways, I do see that there's already a question here. Mr. Abbott Dynamics says, hey, Krown, hope you had a good weekend. Thanks, man. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Any chance we could go over the volume profiles after Bitcoin TA? Is that like a go over the volume profile for Bitcoin specifically, or just in general? But yeah, we can do both. I mean, just let me know kind of what you're thinking on that one, and let's get back into it right over here. So what do we see as far as the dashboard goes? Bitcoin dominance still more or less steady, holding that 60% region, but I do think that it would be warranted to actually check it in today, as we do have yet again another weekly closure, and I am still looking for more or less a reversal on that. Fear and Greed Index also stuck around that 70%, or sorry, not 70%, but just 70 read right here. Coming down technically a few points from yesterday to today as well. What's up, Jeremy? Appreciate that, brother. Hey, how you doing, Kevin? Check out that stash. Yeah, man, I had a little bit of a mishap yesterday with... Oh, you noticed. I had a little bit of a mishap yesterday with my razor. I thought I had a guard on it. Appears I didn't. And then the stash was born. I said, all right, well, fuck it. After trolling Elsa a little bit like Mario. Anyways, it's fun stuff. Anyways, open interest, more or less the same level as what we saw from yesterday to today as well. So essentially that does still pull in the overall biases that we have been looking at on the higher term timeframes. Short and medium term timeframes, however, just I imagine it's going to be more or less boring here. So the most accurate title of today is going to be Bitcoin Sideways as Fuck, Boring But Emergency Video. In this video, we're going to be talking about some very powerful sideways ranges, and this indicator has never... It's like every fucking clickbait thing that you can think of. Anyways, top 10 coins, top 10 worst coins. Do we see the usual suspects here? No, actually, we see a completely different... completely different setup from what we saw from yesterday to today. In fact, I see Theta up there, Harmony, Solana, Ocean Protocol. So maybe these ones are worth checking out today. Even BitTorrent back on the winners page, as yesterday I believe we saw it on the top 10 worst coins. On the other side, however, we do see IOS, which was certainly on the top 10 best coins yesterday. It's just rotations is what it is. Huobi token, oh, that's great. EOS, another 2017 shitcoin. Ethereum Classic on the loser list again, unfortunately. And Filecoin, I see there. For a few days in a row now too, I believe. Anyways, into the market data tab we go. I do want to see what we have, or if there's anything of particular interest right now. Funny rate is still more or less steady. Really not anything too consequential. I do look at this as overall good as far as the higher term timeframes go. The reason why I say that is because Bitcoin is essentially around its per all-time high with our funny rate more or less not doing anything of particular interest. So what it essentially suggests that people can actually hold their longs without paying an exorbitant amount, which I typically look at as like above the 0.1% region, especially on a global read for like 48 hours to 72 hours. That's where things do become, very shaky in my experience, and more importantly, historically relevant for those regions. Anyways, looking at the actual price action charts versus open interest, you can see very, very clearly right here. Yes, again, it's essentially looking like a reaccumulation at a high level. The question is, though, does Bitcoin make a quick move to the downside, fill at the bottom side of the range once again, or are we ready to continue the sideways from about $56,000, our targeted region from yesterday? Short-term time frame analysis. And what do we have over here? Mr. New Bro. Hello, sir. How you doing? Paul Tootal Senior American Chopper vibes. Don't know what the fuck that means, but you know what? I'll have something to look at on Google a little bit after this. Anyways, looking at the funny rate per exchange, we see that FTX is once again way the fuck out there. But the thing with FTX is that they actually have they have a little bit of a different setup in the way they do funny rates compared to other exchanges. It actually changes a lot more, and the reasons why you probably get a different read on our app versus what you see on FTX is because we're only looking at this, or we're only taking what their API gets, and and I'd imagine we probably only do this on an 8-hour schedule to be in line with all the other major exchanges, of which you see Bybit, BitMEX, Huobi, all around 0.01%, even Deribit, just barely out there as well. So it's really not anything too much to be putting any sort of weight on. I look at that more or less as a reset. We also see that the futures premium over perpetual price action is starting to dissipate a little bit. I still want to see it come down a little bit more. When those start to come closer and closer to parity, that's going to imply more, closer and closer to a resolution of this range for this whole formation that we've been working on for like the last 2 to 3 weeks now. So likely a very powerful indication on that one as well. Anyways, other than that, we're really not seeing anything too much new over here. Sales over, so never again. Just kidding. But all good. Is there anything else that is sticking out here, though? I'm trying to see. Nah, more or less boring stuff today, I'd imagine. Anyways, what I want to show now is actually something that's pretty damn cool. Caretaker made another reverse indicator. He's actually made it an open source indicator. Anyone can get it. You can even play with the code if you so desire. And it's over here. Just type in on the what's it called, on the public library. Yeah, there it is. CT reverse true strength indicator. It's actually pretty damn interesting stuff. And actually, I'm actually considering replacing my Stokes with this, as it gives a bias for when to actually take the signals rather than just looking at a signal in its in its sort of nascent form. Anyways, I'll actually make a video on this one perhaps later this week. I'll post it with more like strategies kind of intertwined with it, but I actually really like my initial testing on it. And I do think that it has a lot of potential here. Anyways, we'll even go over a few examples with it today. But yeah, if you're a coder yourself, make sure to, or if you want to, you can obviously play around with the settings over here. So that is available to you. And massive thank you to Mr. Caretaker for that one once again. Anyways, okay, so let's go over to our secondary chart. Start this one off. I want to start off with the higher term timeframes because we are getting very close to the end of the month here. This being the 22nd day of March of 31 days. So we have about 9 days left. Anyways, with that in mind, I do look at this as incredibly powerful right here. As long as Bitcoin closes this monthly above even 50,000 bucks, I would be looking for overall continuation. I want to be very, 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 very fucking clear about this, because long term, at least into April, I actually would still be having a bullish bias. Again, assuming that condition is met, and realistically speaking, this looks like it very likely gets met on top of the quarterly as well, which will also be closing. Now, the quarterly being 3x the time frame of a monthly is going to be, a lot more powerful as well. And what do we see? We see the second month consecutive of closing, or not second month, but second closure consecutively, very, very likely above the topside Krown band, which again, I think is incredibly interesting here, just because we've seen it rise up from October to January, which puts in a natural base, as we have seen in the past, about 50%, from about 19,000 all the way to about 30,000, and a little bit off there, a little bit more than that to be fair, but more importantly, it would be relevant to say that, hey, if we see something similar this next open, which, we are seeing something similar right now, to be fair. So, any sort of a closure above 50,000 bucks, I'd say, would meet that condition. Then we'll very likely see the the top side Toronto band rise up all the way, potentially all the way to 50,000 bucks, maybe even a little bit past 50,000 bucks, as that would be around, a little bit around 50%. A little bit above 50% to be fair, as this one's actually, the last one is actually about 35,000 bucks. So yeah, around 50,000 bucks would be relevant to say, and I'd be willing to say after that, Bitcoin puts in a major base around 50,000 bucks for the macro, actually, meaning that I would be looking for, big opportunities long term around the low $50,000 region if Bitcoin even, comes back down to that level. So overall, I do want to be very, 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 very much clear that on the higher term timeframes, I really have no real reason to be bearish. And of course, when we are talking about a quarterly here, we're talking about the next, potential 3 months of price action, and realistically, any signal that you get on like a quarterly like this, I mean, that's, you're basically looking for the totality of that signal to play out over the next year to year and a half for the most part. So with all of this in mind, I do still really like the higher term timeframes. However, we will juxtapose that against the lower term timeframes. But before we do that, let's get into the weekly right here. Didn't you mention Bitcoin needs to move aggressively, says Scott Carney? That has nothing to do with the analysis right now, sir. And aggressively on a monthly does not mean anything for a fucking hourly. Anyways, looking at the weekly right here, what do we see? I mean, we don't really see anything that already hasn't happened on CME. We do have new closing, technically last week or the week prior to this past week was our last closing all-time high, but basically the same thing as what we see on CMEs right here. So overall, I do like the topside Toronto band right now on the weekly as a bit of a medium-term target if Bitcoin does break out the medium, or basically the top side of this range, and that would be about $65,000, which is one of our bigger fibs on this list as well, as I would be keeping a keen eye, yes, right around here, which is the 3.272 out of the prior base from about $30,000 to $40,000 region at about $65,000, which also, if you remember from this this weekend's analysis, was lining up with one of the short-term targets if Bitcoin does complete the ascending triangle, which actually still does have kind of baking in there. So I would still favor, you know, more or less a range on the short-term, medium-term timeframes, and then resolution maybe a little bit later this week. Anyways, haircut or dawdle? What's dawdle? I don't know what that is, man. Anyways, told Omar. There you go, baby. There you fucking go. Anyways, do we see anything on the daily right here? No, I'm still looking at this as more or less consolidation. First and foremost, I'd be looking at this as a potential ascending triangle, especially as long as Bitcoin's holding above the 20 simple right here. I'm sure someone's going to say, but Krown, we have a bearish cross in the MACD's nuts. Well, problem with that is that if you actually trade it like that, you're going to go fucking broke, because it is not accompanied by any sort of break in structure. In fact, the structure would be right around the 20 simple, which is actually your last higher low at about 55,500-ish region as well. So I'd be looking for this one to, you know, still maintain that overall trajectory, and I'd look for the ADX DMI to give the next signal, of which the DMI plus is closer to the actual signal line. ADX coming down for a little bit of a reset there as well. Anyways, Jeremy Duggan says, from the United States, love your show. Thanks, man. Been a fan for 2 years. Fuck yeah, man. Let's break the $6,000 barrier for Bitcoin. Let's fucking smash it, baby. Smash that fucking barrier. Well, that would be nice, but at the end of the day, we're traders here, so it doesn't really matter which way that it goes, although it would be nicer if it goes to the upside, because the market's a lot more nice and calm now. People are like pleasant to each other for the most part. That's nice. It's very good. You know, it's hard to be mad when everyone's making shit tons of fucking money, which is just, you know, starting to get a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Well, it actually has been a guilty pleasure ever since about $20,000, I'd say. Anyways, looking at the buy daily and triple daily, we see another reset on the ADX DMI as well. So all of this, I do point towards a resolution very, very soon. Probably, potentially this week, very likely next week, I do believe, especially when you consider the bi-weekly right here, of which we are still trending above the top side Toronto band, but it being a bi-weekly, you know, it naturally takes time. Just like a monthly takes a fucking month, this one takes 2 weeks. And what do we see right here? Well, it is going to have a chance to not just close above the top side Toronto band, but continue the trend to the upside here on increasing momentum on MACD histogram, and also the DMI plus still very much dominant there as well. So giving a directional bias on this one. So, you know, looking for all these kind of leading to each other, I would say that very, very likely Bitcoin does try for new all-time highs, probably within the next maybe 2.5 weeks. Could it be this week? Potentially, yes, but I wouldn't be surprised to see another week here, just kind of going sideways within the range, and maybe a resolution later this week. But let's talk about the shorter term timeframes here, or actually, before we talk about the shorter term timeframes, let's go over here to talk about the pi cycle indicator. Let's go back to the daily for this one. Just do our daily kind of check-in on this. And if you recall yesterday, it was actually the percentage away was about 84 and third, I believe it was. Now coming down almost a full percent once again with Bitcoin going sideways. So this is suggesting that Bitcoin is, you know, in a little bit of a danger here. But I have got this wrong. I've gotten this one a little bit wrong in the past, and the reason why I say that is because what's happening here is this green moving average is actually a slow moving average. So with that in mind, the orange being more reactive would imply that the faster that Bitcoin actually does rally, the closer that those will obviously come into contact. So then, if we are looking at it from that perspective, it actually would provide a little bit of a reprieve if Bitcoin did come back down. So I do come back down to like the bottom side of the medium term range, which would be like that low $52,000 number. So I do still think that that's, you know, that would be an overall opportunity, but I did want to get that out here as well. Mr. Lombardi says, Krown, does a closure on the 4-day? God damn it! For the love of fucking God. Can I just get through this goddamn analysis? Yeah, man, we can look at the 4-day really quickly, but look, what's the relevancy of looking at a 4-day? That doesn't really make much sense to me. I mean, it's not like a half of a week. It's not a 5-day trading week, which, you know, you can make arguments for, but is the closure of this 3 strikes of bearish evidence? First off, no, we don't see a breakage of structure here. And in this case right here, when you see something like this, you really want to see like 3 consecutive closures, if you will, you know, producing a bit of a local high. And in this case, we don't have that. You go with the trend first. You go with momentum and trend, or trend first, then momentum. And in this case, I mean, do I see anything that's like super bearish here? No, I don't. It'd also be 3 strikes of bearish evidence. Oh, actually, you did get that right. And that would have a natural target back down to about 46,500-ish region. Is it concerning? Yes, if it actually happens, but it hasn't happened yet. How would you confirm that? Either lower than our current high on this rally, which is 14th of March low. That's 53,264, or a closure below. In this case, probably the 10 simple would probably do it as well. But I would actually not be looking for that to happen, to be honest with you. So first off, I really don't favor the 4-day anyways. The 2-day I think is good for Bitcoin. The 3-day can be okay, but as far as the higher term timeframes above a daily, I like the daily, 2-day, 5-day, specifically for, of course, traditional markets, because that is your trading week, and then the weekly, and then shit above that. Anyways, Bitcoin Delphine says, smash your face on the like button for new all-time high. is that how it works? What do people say nowadays? Guys, if you don't smash that fucking if you don't smash the like button and subscribe and pay me money, simps, then Bitcoin will never go fucking higher. That's exactly right. It matters what you do in this video. Jesus fucking Christ, man. But yeah, at the end of the day, all jokes aside, it is very interesting to see that there's very much a lack of interest in Bitcoin right now, as Bitcoin is more or less right at the prior all-time high. I mean, realistically, the differential between about $61,000 and where we're at right now is irrelevant when you pull it all the way fucking out. In this case right here, I mean, it barely registers, kind of what I want to say. Adrian says, good morning, Mr. 70s Porn Stash. Algo USD on a daily, if you could, my good man. For the love of fucking God, if I get another goddamn request before getting through Bitcoin analysis, I'm going to tear my mustache out. No, just kidding. But no, we'll save it for later, man. I don't want to be too disrespectful there. Anyways, going down to the lower term timeframes, let's see what we got. If we can come up with any sort of a bias on the lower term timeframes here, and still, it is kind of wedging itself into into an ascending triangle here. I do reserve a little bit of what's it called, a little bit, oh, actually I already have it in there, nice one. I do reserve a little bit of caution with this one, to be fair, but technically speaking, as long as you are riding above essentially the Cyan 89 expansion average right here, that would actually be lining up with your rising bottoms, and that would be coming in right below $56,000. Actually, at this point, probably right above $56,000. So overall, I do like, overall, as long as that's in place, I do favor it, I suppose, but I wouldn't put too much weight on it, because we do see a little bit of a difference on CME right here. I think CME is a little bit more neutral, if anything, and I really wouldn't mind another move back down to $52,000. But I am actually talking my book here, so I want to be very transparent about that. The reason why I wouldn't mind that is because that's where I'd like to be. That's where I'd like to play a position. Right now, do I really want to play a position right here? I mean, you certainly could. You do have a nice edge, I suppose, and a very easy way to be managing this one. But coming into Monday, these signals, usually have a lower efficacy if it's on spot and not on CME. And right now on spot, we have hidden bullish divergence. On CME, we potentially have hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour, but needs to confirm a local low right here, which it is not done just yet. We either need to close this 4-hour dildo back above about the 10 simple at about $58,000, or the next one above that region would do it for me. But with the momentum also is kind of turning against that right now. I'm not necessarily like holding my breath for that to happen. But technically speaking, as long as we are ready, or as long as Bitcoin's riding this trend line right here, yeah, you do still have that ascending triangle in. And remember the numbers that we were talking about earlier. This would actually have a measure moved all the way up towards about $65,000, which is in line with the topside Toronto band, as we saw right on, hey, whoops, wrong one, on the weekly right here, and also the bi-weekly, about $65,000, and also one of our major fibs coming out of the past prior base at the 3 spot 272, all in the same area. So I really like influence on this one. And resolution would be had above 59,600, essentially the same areas that were relevant over the weekend and end of last week are going to be relevant here today. So, I would be willing to call medium. I would essentially be willing to call a continuation to those upside targets with $65,000 in mind, and also $69,000 in mind if that condition is met. That's actually where I would start to look for this one to once again go into trending mode. That's above about 59,600. Here's the thing though, and I want to bring this back over to the true strength indicator, as my fucking raspy lesbian voice is screwing it all up in the early morning hours. But going back on over here, I'll bring it up on this chart. I just wanted to give it its own little thing so that we could directly look at it. But most importantly with this, this can actually also give us another bias for another resolution point as well. So the way that you use this is you want to be seeing it essentially cross in the same direction as that it is in the zone up. So in this case, here's your zero read right here. So everything above, you want to be looking for bullish signals. You don't want to really be looking for bearish signals. Bearish signals can be taken as a signal to potentially let loose of some of your position, perhaps, but it's not necessarily like a short now type of thing. If you want to take the shorts, or at least I found that the shorts that are really worth taking happen below this region right here. And anyways, we can see that this will actually naturally have another cross to the upside above the signal line, which is about 60,650, or 60,650, we'll call it, which is, essentially just past your prior high right here. So that would be the daily. That would obviously be continuation in this case. But if we go down to a shorter term time frames like the 4 hour, can we see something similar as well? Actually, yes. In fact, this is really interesting to me because we do see that the 4 hours right around the zero read right here, and we know exactly what price would be needed in order to cross that back above, and that would be 59,125. And in this case right here, that would be right around your lower high structure, or not necessarily a lower high, but right around that last sort of resolution point at about 59,200-ish region right here. So I would be looking at that as an early continuation point. So this one, again, trend plus momentum, breaking structure as well, all looks good to me. And then, yes, I would be looking for that next move up to about 65,000 bucks. So my usual methods of doing it over here would be a little bit of a laggard in this case. I do think that the true strength indicator on that time frame actually could be relevant for calling for the continuation on this one. So very, very interesting on that. Anyways, what I would say with this though is, like I said, on the short-term time frames, I'm not necessarily like fully convinced that this one's ready just yet, especially when looking at, well, actually now that I look at HVP, it is really fucking low right here. So, we could certainly see resolution on this. Actually, we could very well see resolution on this today. Fair enough. Anyways, I do want to lay out conditions for where this fails on the short-term timeframes to the downside. Of course, always have to have some like that, and you lose your higher low structure essentially above yesterday's 4 hour higher low, which is 55 or about 56,000 bucks, anywhere below there. And then yes, I would be looking for the next markdown coming to about 52.5 to 53,000 bucks, and very likely a bounce there, and that would actually be very much welcomed by myself, to be fair. Anyways, it should be denoted that on the short-term timeframes for Bitcoin spot price action, we do see hidden bullish evidence coming off the low already. Technically speaking, not in CME just yet, which I really want to see it there. Hey, what's up, Colin McCann? There he is. January 11th volume to now baking something up. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, and that is certainly something that we need to get to right now. But as we kind of draw a bit of a regression through here, you can see that it's still it could still take its time a bit. Something like this is what I'd be looking towards, and this would imply a resolution actually around the beginning of April is usually when these things are more statistically likely to break. Once these things get about 75% full towards the apex, you do see a much higher chance of breaking, historically speaking, or sorry, statistically speaking. Well, that is obviously going to be relative to the historical analysis of this as well, but just general sort of knowledge within this, and that will very likely force a resolution. So yeah, I'd be saying again, that kind of fits in with the bi-weekly analysis, but now I'm getting off track once again. God damn it, man. Anyways, going back to the lower term timeframes right here, yes, there are a few things in place right now, but the ranges are very well documented at this point. And I would call a resolution to the downside actually, with about a $3,000, maybe even $4,000 delta between targets below the $56,000 higher low right here. Now, of course, until that happens, I do remain, I suppose, bullish on all time frames. I don't really necessarily feel that way in the short-term time frames right here, but I don't need to feel something in order for it to, work essentially. And that's a question that I get a lot of the time is like, Krown, how do you deal with your feelings in this situation? It's like, well, you don't. I mean, what are you talking about? Your feelings, in these sorts of situations, you either get a signal or you don't. But that's more in like the planning category, and typically people are not like actually fucking planning out their trades, which is why they don't feel too confident to actually take them once they actually do get the signals for them. Or even worse, what they do is a lot of the time they will not even just have a plan to begin with, or a plan that they even fucking follow. So Jesus Christ, man. Anyways, another topic for another psychological video, maybe at a later date. Anyways, 3 hour, do we see the same thing? Kind of do. Yes, 3 hour still headed up nice and erectly there, but not anything too strong. 3 hour RSI bouncing a bit. I look at this as neutral to bullish in the medium term. And buy hourly, I want to see kind of following through on that tip as well. And yeah, actually we do. We see buy hourly Stokes, nice and erect here as well. Buy hourly RSI in the exact same posturing, so neutral to slightly bullish there too. And what about the hourly? Hourly's kind of flip-flopping around. We'd like to see this one precipitate, obviously the 2 and 3 and 4 hour. If they can all get on the same side, then I'd be looking for another move, probably back up to test around a little bit above 59,000 bucks. And if you did have to like put a gun to my head right now and said, Krown, call it or die, I would say, sir, that's quite dramatic. But I suppose I will. In this case, I guess I'd have to favor the upside because, typically speaking, you go test the downside. Well, what happens if you go test the support? You go test the resistance. In this case, I'd be looking at your short-term, medium-term resistance right around 59.6. And the funny thing about this, actually, or maybe not so funny, but the very interesting thing about that is what I would naturally say is that your short-term, medium-term, and even long-term resistance are actually all coming at the same level. Very rarely do you see the confluence between all these different time frames coming in pretty much right around, let's just call it right under 60,000 bucks. So in order to get confirmation of continuation, at least in the way that I'm looking at things right now, based off the true strength indicator and also basically all of our lower-term time frame momentum oscillators, I'd be looking for a 4-hour closure above, again, that 59,500 or 59.6. I think it's about 500-ish region, actually. I think I said 59.6 earlier, which would obviously put the true strength indicator on those short-term timeframes back in that upwards trajectory, even above 59,200, I believe it was, or maybe it was 100. Let's go see what it is right here. Yep, 59,125 actually. And then swinging back on over here. Also, I could be looking for either, just a wick above our last sort of high of this range, which is 60,019.5 on BitMexico. Check your exchange. It will be different, of course. If one of those two things happens, I would be calling resolution to the upside here, looking for a momentous drive to the first target of about 65,000 bucks, fulfill all the measured moves and all the confluence within that region there. Probably a short-term pullback based upon that, and then likely continuation to our $69,000 target based off of this as a cup and handle, which is still actually very much within the charts right now. So with all of that said, I suppose I am still a bull in all time frames. But again, I can switch around to short-term, medium-term here. If the bottom side $56,000 level is broken on a 4-hour closure, could I use a 2-hour closure here as well? Yep, I do think that a 2-hour closure would actually work, but I'd move that resolution point down just a smidgen here. 55,800 would do it for me. And I'd be willing to call a downside resolution, probably a small bounce around the way at this prior low. However, I would be looking for continuation very, very likely to about 52,000, somewhere around there would be about where, and that's actually personally where I'm actually potentially looking for, or a lot more interested in potential long-term entry, perhaps. But, of course, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, and there's no promise that actually even happens to begin with. I just like the edge there. Doesn't mean that it has to fucking happen, of course. Anyway, Scott Carney says 100x long and 50x short would be smart. That is the most, I hope you're trolling, sir. I pray for you, man. I fucking pray for you, Scott. God damn it, Scott. Scott! Fucking Scott! It's the new Omar. I pray for you, sir. I would suggest never using leverage. I would suggest never even fucking using a leverage in a leverage slider manner. I've never even had access to that as when I was a professional trader. I only had cross leverage essentially. Like it's ridiculous to me that you can actually even just set your leverage to begin with. Like it just reeks of like a Las Vegas scummy casino bullshit. But hey, that's just my opinion, I suppose. Fair enough. I understand that there are strategies with that. Yes, I do understand that there's some people who use it very much professionally, but going 50x short versus 100x long means absolutely, you probably aren't that person, no offense, because you don't look at it as like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking leverage up my whole goddamn equity. No, it would be like a risk management strategy against itself. But even then, it wouldn't make sense to that to begin with. I mean, why would you be 50x short versus 100x long? You're just gonna get liquidated probably on both sides, because the smallest move to either side of this range is probably gonna get you, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we even have the option to go above 4x leverage, which I've actually never even seen in my life. In traditional land, we had 4x leverage, and if you got to 4x leverage or even just above 2x leverage, you were thought to be like, oh damn, this guy's like very cavalier, this guy's kind of crazy, he's a little bit off his rocker there. Anyways, Mimi's that butter my biscuits. Omar's a new smons. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. One of the very interesting people that we've had in this community over the years, man. Anyways, let's see. Okay, so I think I missed a couple of comments over here. I'll try to swing back to them now. I see Philson, I see Junior Riggs, I see Crypto. Oh, fuck yeah, man. Love those guys. Let's see where did I miss that? It was some shitcoin request. Where the fuck are you, shitcoiners? Shitcoiners, reveal yourself now. Oh, actually, Abbott Dynamic wanted to look at volume profiles. So, you know, let's look at that right now. I'm gonna guess that you just want to look at it versus Bitcoin, and we can do that very, very simply here. I'm gonna put it on a 4-hour, and what do we see right here? We see what we already know essentially. In the volume profile, I actually really like it as an indicator. It's, you know, it's a great indicator, but I mean, usually I just use it to kind of confirm my own, you know, my main tools. But you know, you can use it as a main driver as well. It's just a little bit more reactive in, you know, in its essence. Obviously, it's going to be based off of prior volume essentially. So it's never going to be predictive. It's only going to be lagging in that case, which a lot of indicators are, and that doesn't mean that they aren't valuable. It's just, you know, I like to use this one after we've kind of really designed a range here, and at this point, yes, we have. So what is it suggesting? Well, you can see obviously the point of control is coming in way the fuck back on over here, right around about 48,000 bucks. So I actually do like that area. If Bitcoin were to have, you know, a quick break down there, that'd be an obvious bouncy bounce area. But more importantly, we see that there's a massive gap between this high level right here, where Bitcoin's attempting to put in an ascending triangle and reaccumulate at this high level, right around 56,000, a little bit of 56,000 bucks, which is rather interesting now, isn't it? Because that's where higher lows are coming in right now. Interesting how these things are all kind of confluent with each other. But that would also what's called imply that if we break this region right here, it's going to be a clean shot right into the middle of this of no man's zone. And guess what? That's right in line with the 4-hour 200 simple and 200 exponential average, which I would like for, you know, at the very least a short-term bounce. And guess what? That's around your $52,500 region as well. So really, really good confluence if that condition were to be met. So further verifying those ranges, which I really do like, and I really value the volume profile for. But I'm not sure if you what time frame you wanted to look at. I'm not sure what exactly even what you wanted to talk about before. But of course, this always is going to be relevant to the time frame that you're looking at, and also the data that you're looking at over here, because I'm looking at visible range, by the way. A lot of people use session on this, which is good. Okay, if this guy keeps on fucking spamming, Arch, you're fucking out. Sorry, man, but if you spam like that, it's just not cool to everyone else who's like being, you know, normal. Sorry, you can come back maybe a little bit later. All right, Sarthak's doing the same thing too. Might have to drop it again, man. I don't like fucking hiding people though. It's weird. Anyways, okay, let's get back onto the comments over here and let's see. Because there's definitely one other one that I missed, but what was it? Where was it actually? Let's see. Was it Adrian? It was Adrian. Okay, Adrian said Algo USD on the daily if you could. All right, sure, man. All right, Algo USD. Okay. No problem, man. Let's see. I'm going to guess Binance probably want to be going for this one, to be fair. And daily, again, looks like a consolidation at a high level here. It's very likely to do whatever Bitcoin does. But this one, to be honest with you, I actually think that this one looks a little bit more healthy than Bitcoin, especially for this formation right here. But it would also imply that we're a little bit less mature in our range than what I have for Bitcoin as well. It'd be something like this, what I'd be looking for. Coming in with your rising lows right here on the daily, pretty damn obvious. However, could we have another test back down to the bottom side of this at 111? Yeah, easily. However, on the other side, I would be looking for resolution to the upside with any sort of move back above the high of this range, which is about 138.5, or a closure above that last closing high, which is about 140-ish region. So whichever one happens first, obviously, it's probably gonna happen at the same time anyways. And then I'd be looking for continuation back to the prior all-time high, 175-ish region, and probably new all-time highs after that. I mean, again, this is, pretty much around your blue sky breakout region. I'd consider that above about 160th region. So yeah, look pretty damn good above there. Kind of just freely going there. Anyways, what else do we have? All right, let me see. Okay, got Colin McCann. I see you, sir. Scott Carney, 50x short versus 100x long. But why, sir? Why? I'm just curious what the logic is beyond that. I'm probably just getting trolled though. I think I'm getting trolled. Scott, are you trolling me? I think I'm being trolled, sir. Colin McCann says, do you have any planned strategy for finding a juicy short for when the pi cycle top fires off a signal? Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm not going to say that you're not going to like it, but you're going to think that it's not so sexy. All right. So what happens if and when Bitcoin does get the pi cycle short? Well, first off, I would probably be looking for some sort of like divergence on a daily, but the point at which I'm very much willing to call not just the market cycle over, but actually enter into potentially long-term shorts is when we get a weekly reversal. It's just been the most trustworthy thing on the higher term timeframes that has worked out since the eternity of Bitcoin, actually. Now, of course, at some point, this probably won't work out. You know, you do have your black swans, obviously, but with that in mind, it has been, you know, pretty extremely consistent for our 11-year history of Bitcoin now, which anytime the Bitcoin's had a weekly reversal, then that is, you know, well, party over for quite some time. I mean, the last one, for example, took about a year and a half from 2018 basically to 2020, or actually beginning of 2021. So yeah, about 2 years actually. One before that took about a year, all the way from December 2013 to a reversal over here. And it works both ways too, you know, of course. And then same thing over here for about 6 months in 2013. Jesus Christ, man, give me a chance. Give me a second here, sirs and zers. Give me a second here. But yeah, you know, but here's the thing. That's not going to happen on the same fucking drive, right? It can't, you know, because your high gets put in first, then your lower high gets put in. So that's what I'm essentially looking for as far as my own trading plan, which you asked specifically about. So it's essentially a warning signal to, you know, start to scale out of longs within the next, you know, week or two, historically speaking. And then after that, look for that lower high if I am looking to get that short, which actually that's really what I'm kind of waiting for myself. Although I don't think that is happening like right here, right now. And of course, we did document very clearly that, you know, Bitcoin, or sorry, these two moving averages are getting insanely close to each other, and we actually really have never even seen them get this close before, where it's like, you know, 3 to 4% away, which this one's actually only 2.5% away right now. Without like going into like the massive parabolic blow off, and then of course the reversal after that. So looking at this right here, I mean, we're already below that threshold, which we went over yesterday, like I said. So reference that video if you do want a more in-depth explanation of that. But to give you an example over here, you know, once it got to about 4%, historically speaking, that's like, all right, you're in kind of like your last death throes of this rally. This one was about 2.5% right here. Now, to be fair, things actually did go about 2x from that level, from about 11,000 all the way to 20,000 bucks. And same thing on the iteration before that, I believe, as well, when we got, yeah, right around here, actually, right around here. This one, I imagine, going to be relatively similar. This one's about 4% right here, and then it goes from about 800 to 1,200. So a pretty impressive rally there as well. What, like, how much would that be, like 50% or so, you know, from that signal given. And then same thing over here too for this iteration in 2013, where it's about, you know, or actually it's about 4% right here, and then things go from about 75 bucks all the way up to, you know, 250 bucks. So pretty damn impressive for that one as well, a little bit more than a 3x. Anyways, my point is that once you get to that level, it usually does, you know, insinuate that the last parabolic drive is about to happen. But historically speaking, those parabolic drives can be fucking insane. I mean, on the lower end, we saw what, about a 50%, more than 50% to be fair. And on the higher end, we saw like a 3x, which is just insane. So of course, you know, we don't want to like overestimate this past prior historical data, but it is rather interesting nonetheless, because it does line up with a lot of the other long-term things that we have been speaking about on this channel. Most importantly, with all those videos in the long-term analysis now that you can view at any given time that you want. Scott Carney says, okay, but what if it's 100x long and 100x short? Got it, thanks. God damn it, Scott. Scotty don't. Scotty don't, baby. M. Aurora says, good day, Pablo. Thank you, sir. KSM Perp, FTX, please. Okay, KSM Perp, what is this? KSM Perps? Kusama Perpetual Futures, only on FTX, man. These guys are like, these guys are just the first of their kind, I guess. Bullish as fuck for the information that we have. Don't know what the hell this thing is. It has a very interesting name, I suppose. Name analysis is checking out, I guess. Continuation here, very obvious. I mean, this one's in blue sky breakout territory. Now, what is the underline for this? We'd have to look at this one specifically, obviously. So KSM, I'm just curious what it's actually going to show. Just because we should have, or I would imagine we probably have more history on this one, and we do, but it's actually even better. It's actually even better when you look at it from this perspective. Yeah, I'd be looking for this one to make new highs on this. You know, it's obviously in blue sky breakout territory, price discovery, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Can we come up with any sort of targets here? Yeah, sure. I'd say areas of interest around about 500 bucks actually. A lot of things coming in around 500 bucks, I'd say. long term. Anyways, Dan Henderson says, can you channel your shaman magic at MVIS NASDAQ daily? Plucks! MVIS, sure, man. I think you've asked about this one a few times in the past, so let's follow up on this one. Microvision. Again, consolidation at a high level. Actually, no, this is a 4 hour. Let's go to a daily. Still good. Actually, yes, still very much good. I'd be looking for this one to give another try back up towards about 19 bucks. Above 19 bucks, you do have resolution on an inverted head and shoulders. Volume signature does work on this one. Neckline, yeah, about actually 1875, we'll call it. And I'd be looking for at a run towards your prior all-time high, and probably continuation on top of there. I'd guess. Let's see if that lines up with any one of these major fibs. Probably going to be the $28 level if I had to guess. Oh, what do you fucking know? Actually, $26.50 region. Again, good for the information that we have right there. However, when we go to the very long term, very concerning long term. So it would be, I would be, let's see, cautious with this one long term. But at least for now, I'd probably be looking for another drive there. And technically speaking, you almost do have your weekly reversal here. Let's see if you have a monthly reversal coming into April available. And no, not quite just yet. I'd really like to see it above the 200 exponential moving average right here. If that were to happen, I'd be willing to call this one complete change, and start to target, very long-term moves up towards like 80 or maybe even $100, like very long-term to be fair. Hey, what's up, Shibley? Do you put weight on the Pi cycle top on Ethereum March 5th? Okay, so I guess a better question would be, does the Pi cycle indicator have good history with other assets? It actually does, but I wouldn't be willing to say that on something like Ethereum just yet because we don't have that much history for it. So yeah, actually we did get the top called right here, to be fair. Let's see how it's done in the past. Do we have a chart here with more? Or sorry, no, this is actually going all the way back down to 2016. Okay, so fair enough. This is about as far as you can get, anyways. I don't think it's going to work on this one all that well. We really don't have a good history of it, so I'd say probably not. I'd probably scratch that signal right there. I don't think that it's I don't think that it's worthy. I mean, it just doesn't have a good history here to begin with. So no, I'd be looking for Bitcoin for direction. Bitcoin kind of judges like the index of the greater crypto sphere, and Bitcoin essentially healthy, then I'd be looking for everything else to be healthy as well. And this one, like I said, hasn't even had like a good iteration before that. So no, and let alone even like multiple iterations. So I'd have to say that I would not trust it on this asset, no. But for example, I think it even worked on like GameStop, for example. But here's the thing, GameStop has decades of history, right? Yeah, it did actually work on GameStop, pretty much calling the high almost to a T here, 2 days after the signal was given. Sorry, 1 day after the signal was given. The ultimate high has been put in thus far. And this, but here's the thing, this one obviously has like history going all the way back to 2002, right? Anyways, to answer your question directly, no, I wouldn't look for it on Ethereum, but it does work on other assets. I mean, we have seen, yes, several times actually. Anyways, winning choices 87 says Cardano USD on daily. Thanks for perturbtions. No problem, sir. Cardano USD daily specifically. Let's go to Binance for this one. And whoops, let me go to my. Goddamn, I keep on doing this. My secondary charts quickly becoming my primary charts. Something has gone awfully wrong here. Okay, so daily. All right. So, first off, I want to see what the weekly looks like. Weekly looks like continuation to me. Overall, as long as it maintains last week's low side wick, which is 95 cent, I wouldn't even mind a little bit of a backfill on last week open down to like 105 or 110 region. But ultimately, this one does show more continuation signals sooner rather than later. And more importantly, on the daily, is this one going into a sideways consolidation? Yes. Do we have nice and obvious levels to be documented here? Absolutely, yes. I mean, here is your low side structure, pretty much right in line with last week's low as well, actually 95, 96 cent region. So as long as you're above there, I do have a bullish bias here. Do you have bearish divergence coming off this? Yes. Has the move likely played out already? I mean, you did see a pretty significant move all the way from 145 down to, or sorry, is it 145, 150, all the way down to about $1.15. So that's, that's quite the move right there. I'd say that that's very likely played out. I would retain a bullish bias here, and looking for a resolution with any sort of a daily closure above 130-ish region, or what if we were to go to a 4 hour? Could we use this as well? I probably wouldn't trust it as much, but if I did have to use a 4 hour, I'd use 134 as a resolution point to the upside. Very likely targeting your prior all-time high and continuation. Do we have any sort of other targets here, though? Not really. Not really. I mean, we do have a consolidation, so we could theoretically put some like this on it, but I'm not so sure that this is going to work out all that well in this case. It would suggest some areas of interest at about $1.75, and then obviously, you know, your $2 psychological resistance as well. So fair enough on that one. All right, Jesus Christ, man. God damn, this one is moving fast today. Hold on, let me let me just pull these back up here. Okay, so we got KSM, Binance USD daily, weekly. Actually, we just looked at that one, so I think that is maybe just a little bit of a later comment. Let me know if you really want to look at it again, though, as you also want to look at Atom USD. Okay, Atom USD. This one is what is it? Cosmos. Yes, Binance going to be the place to go to for all of your shitcoin hopes and dreams. And actually, yes, very very good consolidation at a high level here too. Really like this chart actually for the information that we do have. Obvious accumulation between about May 2019 and your market phase beginning in January 2021. Consolidation at a high level implies reaccumulation in this case. So if you are Wyckoff, inclined in this case, I'd be looking for something like this, which is classic shit right there before your next markup phase. And in this case, we probably could make a measure move on this one, targeting basically around the prior wick high at about 26.25 region. Again, if this actually does have resolution here. So how would you judge resolution? Well, I'd go down to like a daily on this one. Any sort of a daily closure above 22.10 or so would do it for me. What about a 4 hour? About the same area actually as well. In fact, anywhere above here, and I'd be looking for just general continuation, like the higher low structure there too. If I had to call it right now, yes, I do think that this one does have continuation. Short term, does it have another run at this bottom side trend line? Potentially, yes, but again, I'd be looking at that as an opportunity first and foremost. And similar to the last one that we just looked at, as long as it's above last week low, I really have no real reason to be looking at even a bearish resolution on this. But below last week low, yeah, there will be problems. Very likely a big markdown towards about 1330-ish region. But again, am I looking for that to happen? Not necessarily. New 510 says, Krown, bruv, I heard Ron Jeremy likes cake. How about you in the stash? Take a look at cake, Binance USD. Why Binance USD, man? Why chart it against like an absurdly illiquid piece of garbage? We can just look at it versus regular US dollar, sir. I think that'd be just an easier. Oh, God damn it. It has no history, sir. No history. No history. What do I do? What do I do with this? What about on this thing? Pancake swap. Okay, well that sounds legit. That sounds very cool. Long-term downtrend here. I suspect though that we don't have much history on this. All right, you specifically want to look at Binance USD though. Okay, well I guess maybe. I mean, if that one has more history, then perhaps that could be good. Actually, it does. What the fuck? That's strange. Actually, this would be pretty damn good here. I'd be looking for another move back up towards 1380-ish region. And again, something that looks very, very similar to all the other ones, implying further continuation. This one even a little more mature within that, I'd imagine, as we do have hidden bullish divergence, 1, 2, 3 stabs coming off the lows. Yeah, I favor the upside here. Short term, medium term, 1430-ish region. Long term, probably continuation of the prior high, and probably new all-time highs on top of that. It's looking good for the information that we have there. All right, Nero Stritin says, bruh, when moon? Bruh. I don't know. When is the moon? I think we're on the moon, man. I think Bitcoin's actually on the moon right now, sir. Sir, look, within the last like 6 months, it's gone up like 365 fucking %. It's kind of moon to me. That's moon mode to me. Do I think that there's more? Probably yes. But as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin's on goddamn Mars right now. I mean, that is just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. All you have to do is be in this market right now in order to be making money. It's quite the thing. Enjoy it while it lasts. Mahadu Thai says, sir, why Bitcoin rug? Children are starving, sir. I don't know. I will consult the Bitcoin rug for this information. I'm not sure what to do with that, man. Let's see. Where's my thingy over here? Found it. Nice one. Hey, what's up, Filson? Filson says, Theta Bitcoin, daily, weekly Binance, please. Imminent targets. Motherfucker. Let's see. Theta BTC. All right, we got Theta BTC, Binance, of course. Do you have a time frame on that? Daily, weekly? Okay, weeklies. Oh my god. this one's already on the moon too, man. Short term, does it have a little bit of a pullback? I mean, maybe actually. This one's still looking like a little bit more of continuation. Wouldn't mind a pullback to like Jesus Christ, this thing. God damn. Not point, or this is like 15,500 satoshis there. Do I think that there's still more continuation on this one? Let's go to the monthly for that. It's probably going to pull back coming into April, I'd imagine. But long term, you know, would I still favor the upside? I mean, it's kind of hard to hate like a, you know, an uptrend like this, I suppose. So I'd probably be looking for pullbacks over the next couple weeks, and then probably another try higher. I imagine the altcoin market's probably going to go for a bit of a tumble in April. Let's actually go check out the Bitcoin dominance chart just really quickly to get some eyes on that. Still kind of hanging at the lows here, but I am still looking at this as very likely, yes, putting in a major low here. Wouldn't be out of character to put another wick down around 60% region. However, 60% very likely forming a base. Lots of wicks being accumulated within there. And that is your higher low structure for this one. I'd still be bullish on this one coming into the next few months after a little bit of a short-term down. But do not confuse short-term down with a long-term down. I'd actually be more or less bullish on this on the whole. Anyways, let's see. What else do we got here, man? Holy fucking moly, man. This is a busy day. And Marora says, one more, please. Cream USD FTX 4 hours. Sure, man. All right, CERAM USD and 4 hour FTX. Do we want USD or Tether? I guess USD if it's available. Short. Oh, Jesus Christ. We got one of these charts. Probably be looking for a little bit of a short-term pullback here. Very weird stuff going on all of our oscillators. Technically, the Joule is saying to hodl your longs. You know what? So I'm going to go with the Joule in this case. I'd probably be looking for a short-term move back up towards the high side of this range, maybe like 145 region, 140 to 145-ish region. Play out the Joule signal, but it is pretty fucking aggressive here. Usually these ones won't last for too much longer, but it is saying hodl your longs at least for now. What about the daily? Yeah, it probably does have a little more upside here too. I don't know, man. If that signal actually starts playing out even more, which the daily is actually suggesting it does with bullish divergence coming off the lows right here, wouldn't be out of question to see that get marked up all the way to about 175, maybe even 180. So all good. Sir J says, Mr. Krown, Mr. Sir J, could you I must be so fucking annoying. I apologize for my raspy lesbian voice, but I was born like this, sir. I was born like this. Mr. Krown, could you look at FTT USD targets on 4 hour? Oh, Jesus Christ. The dreaded T word. FTT USD. Okay, 4 hour. And I'm guessing Binance probably be the one to go for, or actually maybe FTX, the where this one was born. Looks pretty good here on the 4. It looks very similar to Bitcoin, actually. Again, higher low structure, nice little ascending triangle at a high level after your last little reaccumulation. This would be like kind of akin to the $58,000 to $45,000 level right here. This one kind of where Bitcoin is at right now. And I'd be looking for resolutions to the upside with a 4 hour closure above $41.50 or just a higher high above whatever wick high we have within this region as well. Very likely retest the prior all-time high and very likely makes new all-time highs on top of that. Looks good for the, oh my God, this is just ridiculous. So hey, look, we're in a fucking bubble, guys. We're in a goddamn bubble. Do I think that the bubble goes a little bit higher? Yes, I do. Do I think that this is going to end in fucking tears for a lot of people? Yeah, I do. So fair. I feel like I need to say that, man, because this, look, yes, this is still fucking bullish here, yes, but goddamn, man, when this turns around, it's going to turn around real fucking fast, but I wouldn't say just yet. All right, what else do we got, baby? What else do we got? Nero Strutan says, could you check BAT, base attention token? You think it's pretty bullish as long as it's above previous all-time high, 108, I think. Thanks, Broham. Sir, my preferred pronouns are bra, not broham. You now go to jail. BAT USD. What do you even want to look at? I'm guessing BAT USD because it's 108 and it's probably not worth more than a Bitcoin if I had to guess. Yeah, short-term bullish here. I'd be looking for another move back up to like 124 region. Do I think it's bullish as long as it's above its prior all-time high? Generally speaking, that's going to be I'd essentially be saying that. And is it? Yeah, yes. Yeah, very much so. I mean, just basically last higher low in this structure right here, which is about 108, and about 108 and a half, I'd say. Which it's actually exactly what you're saying. Yes, yeah, 100% agreed. 100% agreed on that one. Below there, however, I'd be looking for greater pullbacks, probably back down to about 90 cents, to be fair. All right, Mimi's that butter my biscuits. Hey, Crunch. Hello, Mimi's. Would you do a fella a favor and take a look at Butt Connect? I'm hoping to break even on my 2017 purchase at the all-time high. Butt Connect, huh? Well, let's just fucking double dildo ourselves all the way to Butt Connect. How about that? And do it human centipede style. All right, so what is this? Is BitConnect even still trading? BitConnect. Looks like it's not actually. Hey, is it really not? Are you serious? They got rid of this? Oh, bastards! Fucking bastards! I actually do happen to know that it's. I think it still does trade. Actually, let me double check over here. BitConnect market. Let's see if we can actually find this. I'm very curious. Holy shit! It's still on CoinDerpCap.com. Let's see. Dan says, kind sir, too many ones, man. We'll look at Uni. Jesus, man. Just one at a time, please. Uni USD, Binance. It looks good here. Looks good. Daily looks like it wants to gear up for another new all-time high, actually. Weekly looks like continuation. This is very likely continuation. This mark's still bullish. Target CF side. Let's see. What's our structure looking like here? A little bit of a short-term pullback, probably just under $40. However, wouldn't be surprised to see this one actually gun for like $50. Winning choice says XLM USD weekly daily. Sure. All right. Actually, I think I already have this one. Hold on, I do think I have this one over here. Yeah, Stellar when it was STR. You're a true OG of this market if you remember that Stellar was actually symbol STR, not XLM for a while. Looks good here. Again, consolidation at a high level. I mean, all these charts are basically like fractals of each other. Is what it seems like to me. About 52 cents where I'd be looking for on the next sort of like short-term, medium-term upside. 4 hour here. What are we looking at? Yeah, it looks like hidden bullish divergence coming off the low. Momentum also is looking like they want to be postured to the upside here too. Wouldn't take all that much. Yeah, I'd probably be looking for this one to reapproach the range high at about 43 cents. 43 cents would imply medium-term continuation all the way up to almost like half a buck there. Would look pretty damn good. But you're worried about the daily, weekly. I mean, it all kind of plays with each other. Of course, once you get right around that 69 cent region, I'd say big cautionary region around there. But for now, for now, probably does follow through. Stuart Williams says, Dear Mario, dear Stuart, can you please check VeChain on the daily, weekly? Yours truly, Princess Peach. Actually, Elsa and I were playing Super Smash yesterday. The other kind of Smash too, and she was Princess Peach as well. Hello, sir. How are you this morning? You look like a derp. Let's see. What do we have here? Okay, VeChain. Yeah. What is this one? VE. It's a VC symbol. What is the symbol here? I'm just gonna type it out. Yeah, there we go. VET. That's right. It's VET. And you want to look at it versus. Well, you didn't say. So I'm just gonna go versus dollar here. It's probably gonna be good versus. If I had to guess, it's gonna be good versus dollar, bad versus Bitcoin. Usually going to be the case in a mega bull market. Very good versus the dollar, incredibly good versus the dollar. Very likely makes new all-time highs today. I mean, it's already making new all-time highs already. This is very good for further continuation within this market. Let's see, can we come up with some targets here? Probably. Oh yeah, actually several. I'd still be keeping a keen eye on about 11 cent. 11 cent, kind of a big one for me right there. So yes, still bullish, still looking good. Probably some stops along the way. Probably some short-term sideways and down along the way as well. But long-term, which sounds like you are more or less interested in with the daily and weekly, yeah, I'd be looking for 11 cents region. New 510 says Krown, bruh. New bruh. One more. Can we look at Reef USDT daily, Binance daily? Okay. Reef. This one comes up quite a fair bit, and you want to look at versus the old tethers here, huh? On Binance. And can I help mod your kingdom, bro? Mod my kingdom? My kingdom? How do you even do that? Mod? Oh, mod. Like mod. I mean, right now, I don't think that we really need it, but I'll definitely keep it in mind if we do. Looking at it right here, what do we see on the daily? I mean, looks within the context of the greater market, it's probably gonna be fine. I mean, what do we see right here? We see, an obvious high structure right around about just below 50 cents bucks, or sorry, 50 cents. I almost said $50 right there. That's not quite, or sorry, it's not even 50 cents. It's 5 cents. Sorry, 5 cents. By the same token, we got our rise and lows coming in right around this trend line, which it actually did its test today at about 3.7. And, do I think that it has another drive to the upside on this? Probably yes. I mean, daily Stokes wouldn't take too much to curl back up here. 4 hour kind of already falling through on that. And we can see that there very likely actually even will be hidden bullish divergence. If this can confirm as well, no, actually, no, there will not be hidden bullish divergence there. But fair enough. Either which way, I favor it as long as it's essentially right and above the 4 hour 200 simple and 200 exponential average, likely going through a sideways consolidation and resolution again above about 5 cents. I don't know what would be the next targets on top of that. It's kind of doing some bad maths here, about 6.5, maybe 7 cents on that one. What else we got? Dan Henderson, Mr. Henderson. I keep buying the dip on Spank wrapped ether. When moon, please. Spank. Okay, this is a real thing. It trades on Uniswap and only on Uniswap, so that's usually a good sign. And what do we have here? We have... fuck! When moon. Sir, you can have a moon right now. You just press Alt and I on your keyboard, and there you go. You have a moon now. You are... Looking pretty fucking good on this one, actually. Anyways, Burnt Creme says, Mr. Elsa, would you mind checking Microsoft on daily, weekly? Actually, I'd love to check out Microsoft. This used to be my baby in traditional markets. So let's check it out right here. MSFT, NASDAQ, and let's see. Actually, whoops, did it again. All right, so this one actually is on the moon, so we don't need to use that silly little trick. And you said daily, weekly. Okay. Little bit of short-term down. I'd probably be looking for another stab back down towards like 227 and a quarter. That's more short-term, however. Weekly, are we looking at a reversal here? Possibly, yes. Jewel is giving off a bit of a sell signal, actually. And we see weekly stows coming down. We see bearish divergence on last weekly high. Yeah, I'd be looking for another drive down to like 225 region. Probably small bounce there. Does it have continuation over the next few weeks? Maybe into April, like down to about 206.5. Perhaps yes. Let's see what the monthly looks like. Monthly is still okay, but a test back down to like the 10 simple would certainly not be out of order here. So fair enough. I am very hesitant to get bearish on Microsoft though, like fully. I mean, if it came down to like, yeah, maybe 215 actually is kind of where I'd be looking towards. I think that would be a bit of a gift here, as this one is one of the darlings of the market, I suppose. But is it looking top here? It's certainly losing momentum, absolutely. But does it have more? This is so fucking crazy to me. I traded Microsoft when it was like in the 30s. That was way the fuck back on over here in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. It's at 200 bucks. That is just insanity, man. That is fucking insanity. Powerful chart, very powerful chart. Matu 185 says CVC USDT on Binance. Sure, man. CVC. Oh, this is like an old shitcoin. No, not right now. Put him down. Put him down. Put those fucking pans down. God damn it. All right, CVC. Civic. What do we have? Consolidation at a high level. Wow, man, even this one's pulling through. There's no greater proof that Bitcoin is in a bull market when 2017 shitcoins like this continue to go up. Again, obvious ascending triangle at a high level here. I'd be looking for continuation on this one. Just bounced off the lower end support of this. I'd look for resolution on a daily, either a closure above last high at about 48 cents, or a wick above range high, which actually we haven't gone just yet, but 49, a little bit above 49 cents would have that as well. And continuation targets probably up towards about 60 plus cents region. Kind of measuring that one out. But yeah, overall good there. Overall good. Anyways, what else do we got, baby? What else do we got? Okay, Jesus, man. Nero Strutton says, thanks, bruh. Thanks, Nero. Do you think it's prudent to put a down payment on the Lambo right now? I think you should just go spend it. You just fucking spend it, man. Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I already spent my check. I already spent it, man. It's fucking gone. This baby's going. No fucking stops. Moon Lambos, here we come. I even got the fucking color picked out to Bitcoin orange. We're gonna be partying on fucking Mars. On a golf course in Mars. How does that work? Doesn't matter. Elon Musk's gonna figure it out. That's right, man. There's your analysis, sir. There's your analysis. No more paper says STMX USD daily Binance. Okay. STMX USD daily Binance. Okay, so we'll go to this one right here. Also chatted Polkadot earlier. All right, we can check that one out too, man. But I would appreciate it if it was just like one at a time, because otherwise things do get a little bit too much. Long term, probably still continue. I mean, it's hard to be bearish on something that looks like this. Short term, does it have a backfill in yesterday open? Probably try another upside. Probably yes. Momentum oscillators, a little bit toppy here, to be fair. For the love of fucking God, put those goddamn things away. Anyways, you will hit that pan to my face. Okay, well, the balcony's over there, and I'm much stronger than you, so I will threaten you now. Anyways,
I'm taller. I win.
you are tall. Look, that's your problem. It's fucking Gandalf over there, and I'm like little Frodo marching up to Mount Doom. I'm gonna put that ring in, baby. You're fucked after that. Don't need you anymore. Anyways, let's see. I mean, this thing, like, look, short term does have a little bit of downside. Probably, yes. I'm very hesitant to call, like, immediate continuation from this level. I don't think it would be asking too much to get a pullback. I mean, this thing can pull back, like, significantly. Even 50% would barely even register on this. Long-term continuation of the upside, however. So long-term, I'd still be bullish on it. Short-term, I'm just very hesitant to look for immediate continuation on this one, like right now. At least another move back down to like 0.057. At least another move back down somewhere around there. Maybe I'd make that 0.058. This market's just getting fucking crazy right now, I'll say. All right, we'll look at dot too, man. But I would sincerely ask, I would humbly ask that it would just be one request per chat. Things just like get too much after that. I mean, we used to have this fucking guy who would come in like at the beginning of this channel. Fucking guy, I still remember, and probably people who've been around here for a long time. He would like list like 20 fucking coins. It's just like, hey man, there's other people. There's other people here. Can you be reasonable? Just oh Jesus. Anyways, yeah, looking at dot. I mean, looks good here, man. I think that we charted this one out earlier. It's looking for resolution very soon here. I wouldn't be surprised to see resolution even this week. Anywhere on a daily closure above 38.5 or a wick above last week high, which is 40.5 about, and I'd be looking for the next measurement to be hit up to about 48, maybe even $50. Okay, what else do we have here? Alrighty, Kendrick Camps. What's up, Mr. Kendrick? The Dominicans have returned. Fuck yeah, for the tears. Love it. ARB. That is a lot of letters. I'm going to guess that it trades OTC. It does trade OTC. And it looks like a shitcoin chart, actually. But right now, the shitcoins are Bula-ish, so might as well respect them. I'd be looking at this as an ascending triangle at a high level. I think that we've even done this one before a few times. Resolution above, what is that level? 410, 411 region. Probably would have a target somewhere around $5 even. However, this will be undone with any sort of a daily closure below about 3.25. Or 320, is that more like 320? No, about 3.25. 3.25. I'd be looking for big markdown down to about 260, but I'd be having a bullish bias here. It looks more or less good. Hidden bullish divergence coming off this last low too. I favor the upside here essentially. Thoughts on if they get listed on NASDAQ. So here's the thing, actually. When you see something like this trading on OTC, that actually looks, generally good. That one actually could potentially go to like an actual market, like NASDAQ, as you're saying. Could it happen? Yeah, I do think so. I mean, this one actually has not so much of a history here, but at least for the history that we do have, it is good. So I'd say probably want to see it there for at least a few more years. But if it can kind of keep up this sort of structure here, then yeah, I think it could be a candidate for sure. As long as it doesn't do like the traditional OTC bullshit that just goes straight down. It's like, usually see like altcoin charts there. Lombardi says, Krown, any reason to not use the pi cycle top on timeframes other than the daily? Well, I'd say the biggest reason would be the lack of efficacious history would be a good reason. So yeah, using BLX on the weekly, the averages appear to be diverging. It also accurately called past tops. Thoughts? Okay, so we can go it over here. All right, let's see. Has it accurately called the tops in the past? Yeah, we have one right here. We have one right here. We have one right here. Yes, but I believe this actually might just be already standardized to the weekly. Let's see. Hold on. Let's really zero in on this one. About 4% differential right there versus the daily, which we already looked at, which is about 2.5%. Interesting, actually very interesting. Could it work on the weekly? I mean, it seems to be working on the weekly for Bitcoin actually rather well. So I'd say that it'd be certainly worth watching, but I imagine that they're still going to cross at the same time anyways. I mean, that's the information that we have to begin with. Like here's our weekly, here's your weekly, which looks literally the exact same as the daily. The daily is just going to be a little more precise because it'll call things to the day more or less. So I'd say, could you be using that time frame? Yeah, I mean the history on it is good, but if you're thinking of using it on a 4 hour, for example, I'd say the history of it would certainly not be good. So there you go. But yeah, if it has good history, can you make it's more important to say, could you make a trading plan with it using it as like a buy, as some sort of like a bias or pivot that would give you, a good trade setup? Well, in that case, yes. I mean, if you have good history like that, then yes. But most importantly with that, you want to be looking for, or at least the way that I use technical analysis is not just to like have like a bias on direction. It's actually more important to have a bias on when that signal would actually not work out, aka your risk management area. That's essentially what you're looking for. So and that's honestly one of like the biggest values in just knowing technical analysis or just any sort of trading plan. Like you need to know, when does your idea not work, because obviously there is randomness. I mean, in fact, the market is a lot more random than what we probably think. And so in order to define those areas, in order to know when our main idea is not going to work out, is like literally the fucking thesis of trading and technical analysis to begin with. Anyways, show us Elsa. Elsa, you are creeping me out, sir. Elsa showed me her messages one day. Never again. Never fucking again. I don't want to know. Keegan Radcliffe says, "Sir, bro, got in V-Waggy at $20. Okay, this is this Volkswagen? This is Volkswagen. This is the OTC bullshit though. At $20, target $41. Let's see. Well, it looks like you already hit your target, man, and I think this one's already topped too. That's a volume climax right there, sir. That's not good. That's not good. Busted at release of their electronic lineup demos, chart a one-hit wonder or long-term good Wiener Schnitzel. For the information that we do have, long-term, it actually does work out pretty damn well, and we do have, you know, more than 2 decades of history here, going back to 96, actually, or actually even 95 for a little bit. So long-term actually would say it's good. However, on this action right here, this very likely does come back down, maybe even test back down around like, you know, 27.5 or somewhere around $30. That would be the next big test in my opinion. As long as it remains above there, I would still remain like long-term macro, you know, bullish, and I'm talking about like a monthly plus. But short-term, you know, is this one looking not like the picture of health and fitness? I mean, it already did kind of have that pretty nasty downside move. I think that could very easily have another stab down, and that's where the real test comes in. But I would say, historically speaking, this one actually is pretty damn good chart. Higher lows for 25 plus years. Pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good, I'd say. Ali Musavi says, NASDAQ SPY, DJI, and SLV plays. Sir, what the fuck? What? God damn it. Please, one at a time. All right, how about 4? I should probably be more appreciative. And you know what? I should express appreciation, but also please understand on the other side, there's like other people here, and we have to be reasonable. We have to be fucking reasonable. I'll look at NASDAQ just because this one's probably going to represent the majority of them anyways. Is NASDAQ going to try to reaccumulate at the 21 on the weekly? Probably yes. Probably yes. I'd be bullish on NASDAQ with any sort of move above last week's high, targeting back around 13,600-ish region, and probably continuation on top of that. Coming into the end of the month here, how would I be looking at this? Looks okay, at least for another try. At least for another try here. Daily does have hidden bearish divergence. I'd say that that's mostly played out. We hit our targets from last week, just below 12.7. I'd give this one a chance to bounce here, actually. Yeah, 4 hour probably does come back down, to be fair, short term. But I don't even know what fucking time frame you're looking at, because you're just spitting off a shit ton of tickers there. I'd probably be looking for a short-term pullback, maybe even back down to like last week's low, like 12,700-ish region. However, I would still give this one a chance to the upside on medium, higher term timeframes here. I still think the weekly is actually okay coming into this week. Anywhere above last week's high, I'd be very bullish here. And where's the 21 coming in? Ah, nice, right below 12.7. So yeah, I'd be looking at it. I'd be looking at a 12.7 bounce first. Give it a chance there, and then move on. Let's zoom through that one right there. Mario, can you look at Sand Vag on Binance Daily? Hey, am I being trolled again? I don't know if this is real. I don't feel comfortable with that, sir. Stuart Williams says GRT USD on the 4 hour daily. The king of the derptions. The king of the derps. That's right, man. There can only be one. The king of the fucking derps. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I'm going to put that on my resume for the next job that I apply for. Anyways, let's see. 4 hour daily, weekly, or daily. 4 hour and daily. Okay. Again, looks like an ascending triangle at a high level here. The whole fucking market looks basically the same, like fractal of each other. The strong coins or the strong assets are putting in these ascending triangles at a high level, implying reaccumulation. Do we have this one already charted out? We do not. Is there potential hidden bullish divergence available? Yes, there is. How would we confirm that? Any sort of a high above 188, or just a closure above the 21 in this case, which is 178. If one of those two things happens, I'd be looking for a retest of the prior high at about 235 and probably new all-time highs, in line with everything else. I mean, everything's kind of postured here for another upside drive, I think. Okay, what else did I miss? Fox and Hound says, look at LSK Lisk my disc. LSK my dick, bro. LSK USD. Okay, Hippie DC. Well, I guess that probably is going to have some good history here. I mean, Hippie DC has been around for a long time, to be fair. Yeah, I'd be looking for continuation here. It's completing this ascending triangle to the upside already. We can actually even make a measure move on this one. And while I imagine the history is probably not too great, at least we can have a little bit of a medium-term target up to about $5, a nice psychological round even number. And yeah, you know, this one is pulling through. We obviously have a weekly reversal, change of behavior volume down here too. Yeah, I'll be looking for a move towards $5. and then come back to it after that. And probably this one actually ends up following the rest of the market too. I mean, you're seeing a lot of things in this market kind of move together, of course. So everything on the weekly actually suggests even more continuation than that, to be fair. So it looks good. Looks good, sir. Looks good. Actually, no buzzer needed on this one. This one's actually pretty good. I'd be looking for continuation here, man. There's nothing bearish about this one, short and medium term. This one's actually being resolved right now. Ali Mazavi says, donation towards buying Elsa a dishwasher. We actually have a dishwasher. Her name is Elsa. No, we actually do have a dishwasher. Oh, were you laughing at my extremely funny joke? Thank you. Okay, you can pay me later in poussoirs. Anyways, in poussoir coin, Kendrick DeCamp says, to tack onto your thoughts, ARB, same company, but on London Exchange, has traded since 2018, just Dominican inquiry. All good, man, all good. Okay, so ARB, okay, on London, so LSE, let's see. So this is a more established exchange, more established history as well. Yeah, I'd say that further verifies that further verifies the medium-term continuation. Yes, I'd agree with that, and that's actually really good that you brought it up too. It's really, really good. All right, cool. All right, let's see. Is that everything, or did I get everything? Yeah, I think I did get everything. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. Krown, could you please check out Link USD 1 hour and 4 hours time frame, says Martin Vargas. Sure, man. Let's see. How deep are we in it? Oh, we're now 25 minutes into this, so probably gonna end this pretty damn soon. Actually, probably even after this one. Let's go to Binance for this one. Yes, and you're looking at a 4 hour. Is that right? 1 hour and 4 actually. So very low term timeframes here. Oh, looks exactly the same as most of the other charts we've seen today. What is this? An ascending triangle at a high level, basically at your prior all-time high. Is this very likely reaccumulation? Is this very likely continuation? Probably yes. Hidden bullish divergence coming off the low right here. If that one does play out, I'd be looking for this one to make a short-term move back up to about 30 and a half bucks. You also asked about an hourly. I don't know, man. I really don't think that looking at low-term timeframes on this bullshit is honestly all that helpful. But we even have regular bullish divergence coming on that time frame. Much rather be on a daily and weekly for this one, because this one actually does have some decent history. Here's the thing: I really would not mind to see this one make another stab back down to like 27 and a half. That would be a major opportunity in my mind. But this one actually is showing further continuation signals like more immediately here, anyways. So perhaps I am wrong about that. Overall, though, I do like it. Resolution to probably the past all-time high would be very likely had back above about 31.85 daily closure. Looks pretty good then. Shibley says, troll on the daily, please. Appreciate it. Sure, man. All right, last one. Okay, troll life Canada. troll life cannabis corp. Oh man, we are just getting all of the fucking memes in this one. Love it, baby. Absolutely fucking love it. It is rather interesting to see that the cannabis stocks, or weed stocks, whatever the fuck you want to call them, pot stocks, are rallying alongside Bitcoin, which did the same thing in 2017, by the way, as well. Both of them kind of hot at the same time. A little bit short-term toppy here, I'd say, or based off the weekly, so maybe not too short. But daily Stokes, downside postured, daily RSI, downside postured here too. I'd probably be looking for this one to try for another higher low somewhere along this structure, alongside the 55, which would, potentially put another base somewhere around about 57 bucks. But there's no real reason to be bearish on it long term, as long as it's above 57 bucks, because that is your higher low structure. Below there, yes, I'd be looking for a reversal back down to like 49, 50 bucks region. But overall, this one very likely does try again higher. I'd imagine we do see a lot of good things going on here. All right, cool. All right, let's start to wrap this bitch up, because we've already been here an hour and 30 minutes, and your boy needs to go lift things up and put them down before he gets fat and disgusting. Anyways, okay, cool. So how do we want to start this one off? I think this is mostly just set up for the quarterly and monthly. Anyways, let's wrap this bitch up. Bitcoin on the quarterly, which will be closing in the next 9 days and 18 hours, is going to once again have a chance to have its second consecutive closure above the topside trailing band, which would very likely set in a base somewhere around about 50,000 bucks for Bitcoin coming into the next 3 months of price action. This is accompanied by a bullish continuation signal on the DMI Plus, still remaining dominant, obviously, and the ADXL strengthening as well. So that would further imply Bitcoin does have some long-term upside here. And when we go down to the monthly, which is obviously closing at the same time frame as well, we do see that Bitcoin is going for its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive months closing above the top side trailing band. Not even go as far as saying that anywhere above 50,000 bucks will very likely insinuate continuation to our next major targets over the next couple months here. Now, within the interim, does that mean that I'm just immediately bullish? Well, maybe, but we'll go down to the lower term time frame soon enough. Anyways, on the daily right here, it should be denoted our next, at least the next areas of interest to the upside, going to be very much in line with this as an ascending triangle or a cup and handle, depending upon where you take it from. Both of them do work out in its current structure, especially as long as Bitcoin holds the higher low at about 56,000 bucks, and would imply targets medium term towards about 65,000 bucks around the 3.272, and the cup and handle target actually somewhere around about 69,000 bucks, which I do like overall. On top of that, if we do go to the short-term timeframes right here, Bitcoin obviously trying to put in a short-term ascending triangle, again at a very high level, which is actually a very good sign for a potential continuation. This is accompanied by hidden bullish evidence coming off the 4-hour low and getting back above the exponential there as well. Also with 4-hour Stokes turning back up here too, and that would also be accompanied by extremely low HVP, which would suggest that we actually potentially even have a chance to break this range, maybe even within this next day of trading. Now, I do want to be very clear with this. Short-term timeframes, I'm not as confident on as a higher-term timeframes here, and I would say that if Bitcoin comes back down and closes a 4-hour dildo below 56,100 or a 2-hour dildo below 55,700, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to actually play another downside move somewhere around about 52,000 bucks and fulfill the test down to the 200 simple and 200 exponential average somewhere around the 2-spot extension there as well. On top of that, when we go back to the true strength indicator over here, which I'm actually really starting to become fond of, I do think that it further verifies the breakout to those upside levels on the 4-hour with any sort of a closure above the signal line, on our signal line reverse function at about 59,150. So if we do see a 4-hour closure basically above this last prior high right here, although the true strength indicator would be a little bit leading into that because it would obviously be about 200, 300 bucks below that critical level, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to very likely start to make its way towards about 65,000 bucks medium term, probably short-term pullback somewhere along the way, and then continuation perhaps to that $69,000 target over time. But for right now, I do remain a little bit less enthusiastic about Bitcoin making like a major move today. I think that we could very easily bake within this formation a little bit longer. Perhaps resolution is more likely around tomorrow in this region right here, around late 23rd, early 24th for my time in the Eastern European time zone. Anything other than that, however, I think that'll do it for right now. Anyways, with that said, I do want to wish you the best and the happy. It's been an absolute pleasure. This was a nice and fun one on a nice early Monday morning. Want to wish everyone well. Want to wish everyone the best as always. And with that said, take care. See you soon.